Ghetto Auto Body Painting 101. Not removing the hood after all. I'm going to try my hand at this. I masked off some important parts. Didn't even take the wipers off, just threw some cardboard over the windshield. I sanded this down with 60 grit on an orbital sander. This is just some other experimentation, but it's all feeling nice and smooth and flat. I've got some issues here. These are the original little dings here. After I took off the chrome strip from the Dodge grill, there were some real problems under here. I handled some of it handled not so well. I'm going to try first with this self-etching Rust-Oleum primer, which a lot of people speak well of. And then I have got this Rust-Oleum filling sander, a filling primer that's sandable. I'll try that next, and then I'll use like a 240 grit, something like that, 240 to 300, somewhere in there, and I'll try to smooth out and see if it helps out some of these little tiny dent issues and some of the stuff on the edge along here as well. And then I'm just going to try to go ahead and put color on it, see how that looks, and if it comes out smooth enough. I really don't want to go through the wet sanding and all that smoothing and stuff if I don't have to. But I mean, I don't know. I'm here to learn, so, and you're here to learn from my mistakes. So maybe that'll be one of them. We shall see. This all feels real good. It looks a little crazy, but it feels pretty good and smooth to the hand. I know that doesn't really count. It doesn't really matter. And there's like some little swirls and stuff in there. I don't know if you can pick up there on the camera, but we'll see if I can get that out in the color coat. And then I've got a clear lacquer, automotive lacquer, and I'm going to try on top of that, 3 coats of that. And then I'll try to buff it, I guess, gently, and see if it comes up shiny and smooth. Let's see what this process looks like. And yes, I'm outside. I'm underneath of a pop-up canopy. Not worried about the bumper getting some overspray. Not worried about the side too much getting overspray anywhere. Just really don't want to mess up my new headlights. That's all. All right, I'm going to spray on this self-etching primer and see how it goes. Ta-da! Still drying. A little too wet in some places. It's got me upset. I put it on a little too thick, which means I'm definitely going to just do some more sanding. So that's 1 can, a little bit less than 1 can. Covered the hood. As you can see, I put it on pretty thick. It's not good. Hopefully in a few minutes it'll be all dry without any running. I see one little spot that's running and it's upsetting me. But I'm going to need another coat of this, I think, because I didn't catch it all, I guess. I don't know if you're supposed to even put 2 coats on this stuff, but we will see. Already looking better. Next up in a few minutes is this Rust-Oleum automotive primer, 2-in-1 filler and sandable. Fills imperfections, sands to a smooth finish. I'm going to try to believe what it says, and I can't even see it here. Maybe even that took care of it. Hold on, I might not even need this. You know what? Those little scratches are gone with this etching primer. Maybe that filled it in. Maybe the matte finish just makes it so I can't see it very well. I don't know. I'm still drying some here. Give it a few more minutes, but this was the planned second coat, and then the color is this right here. It's a Krylon Fusion. Heard a lot of good things about it. I'm going to try this on the hood first only. It's a metallic finish, metallic dark metal. I don't know. It goes on nice and clean with my test. It looks kind of cool. I don't know if you can see. Can't really see it here, but we'll see it on the vehicle. So I'm going to try this on the hood, and then try to do a deep gray gloss around the body, and then on the bottom will be the bed liner black. I don't know, just an experiment. We shall see how it goes. Just sitting here watching it dry, looking at my mess that I should be cleaning up, that I'm not. So you can wait 30 minutes and it's ready for another coat, this particular paint. So I've got about 15 more minutes. Still drying. Still drying. I'm noticing some fill-in touch-up spots that I missed. You can see down here, a little white spot right there I missed. Silver, the metal. Still drying though, and here's the routine I'm trying on this anyway. So Rust-Oleum self-etching primer, and then Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer, and then the Krylon Fusion metallic dark metal, and then Rust-Oleum acrylic lacquer gloss premium automotive formulation. Fast dry, long lasting finish, indoor and outdoor. Wait a minute, that's black. Oops. I got a clear can somewhere. That's the wrong can. Alright, changing that up. Good thing I caught that. That would not come out well. Alright, I'm not sure how well you can see it in this video, but here's a chunk that I had to etch out or carve out of the hood where there was some corrosion. And never done it before, but I'm going to experiment here. It's steel, so I'm going to use this. This is the knockoff of Bondo, I guess. Upol. Fantastic glazing and spot putty. We're going to try to put this in there. It's kind of like a little goo, and it hardens real hard. I used it on the to seal a leak on the roof not long ago, and it worked pretty well. So I'm going to use that, and then I'll use one of these little spreaders, mixing brands, Bondo and Upol. So I'm going to try that, and we'll see how it comes out. It's probably going to look ugly, but I'm thinking I'm doing it right by sealing with the etch primer first, and then putting on there, trying to smooth out, and then I can sand it a little bit, and I can maybe put another layer of the etch primer on, because I missed a couple spots also. And then I'll try the color after that, and then clear. We'll see how it goes. I keep saying that. Alright, well, that kind of did the trick. I just need to wait for that to harden, and I'll sand it. See if I can make it nice and smooth. It filled in that hole. Still like a little dent there, but I think it's still above the surface. Well, I tried to fix it, made it worse. Rubbed off the primer, I can see the bare metal. I'm just going to leave my hands off of it for right now and let it dry completely and cure, or harden at least, and let me read and see how long it takes this thing to dry before I can sand it. Hopefully I didn't screw up my whole day here from this little spot. And I'm also seeing stuff drop on the hood up there. Hopefully it's dry enough it's not sticking. Alright, let's wait a little while and see what that does. I'll give about an hour to dry. Looks pretty dry. There's still a little discoloration still. I think I got a little too much on there, but there's no, I don't know if you can see here, there's no real surface, there's no drips or anything on there, which is good. I'm going to hit it again with this etched primer just to give another layer, because there's a couple of spots that were thin. Didn't do it very well. So I don't think another thin layer can hurt. This is almost dry down here. I'm just going to paint over it, and I'll sand it all together and maybe do the etch primer again on top of that before I put the filling primer and color. So we'll see. But it's a pretty clean look. I don't know if it, can't really tell well in the camera, but it's in person it looks pretty nice and even. A nice color. Second coat of the etch primer on there, real light across there. Still drying. You see some darker spots where it's a little damp. Covered over that little spot right there. I'm gonna still play with that some more. But it looks like it's nice and well covered. We're gonna see if it dries nice and evenly. And don't think I'm driving anywhere tonight. I really wanted to get some color on there today. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Alright, it's starting to get dark out. Ran out of time. Dried for an hour, the second coat. Looks pretty clean. Sometimes video picks up a little more than I want it to. Not sure what I'm gonna do about this yet. I really need to put color on it tonight or something on top of this. I didn't time this well. This is not good. It gets damp and cold at night now. That's not what I want. So not sure what I'm gonna do. I might throw color on it, just see what happens, and I don't know, go from there. I can always strip back down and do it again. Only takes a few hours. Well, I put a coat of color on there after some little light hand sanding of that little issue up front with that putty. It looks awful. Let's see if it stays looking awful after it dries the first coat. I'll put at least 2 coats on here, however long it takes to get it to look nice and even. I mean, I like it if it's nice and clean. It's a dark gray metallic, kind of a gloss issue going on there, thing going on. We'll see. We'll give it a little bit of time to dry. Like I said, though, it's getting dark and cool outside now, so don't know. Looks a little too silvery. Want to just be kind of like a metal flake on a dark gray, but my little test patch was not big enough. We'll see. Right now it looks horrible. There's like some wet areas and some dry areas, some thin areas, some thick areas. Let's give it a little time. I'll come back out there. Oh, by the way, that self-etching primer, this stuff seemed to do a good job. It actually did kind of a little bit of filling also. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but it kind of took out some of those little scratches that were over here. There's still a little ding in there that I didn't get. Another one. I don't know how it's going to look in the end. But it had this thin, like powdery film on top of it. So I just took some light paper towels and I brushed it all off and cleaned it, kind of like I guess that's a poor man's tack cloth, but went across there and took it all off, and it also took off any kind of little residue that blew in from wherever. It's starting to look a little bit better as it's drying. Let me give it a few minutes and come back and look at it in a bit. Interesting. About half an hour later, not sure if it's looking any better. Still got some dark and light spots on it. Still the first coat of color. I think it's got to completely dry. Let me give it, let me read about it a little bit. I think I can put another coat on in an hour. But it's cool. It's not damp, but it's not hot and dry right now. So well, this isn't going to cut it. So hopefully when it dries more, it's going to look better. And after a second coat dried, it's going to look even better. And after a clear lacquer on it, it'll look even better. And after clear lacquer is done 2 or 3 times, it'll look better. And then after that's polished, or buffed at least, it will look amazing. Maybe. Updating again in a while. Okay, well, now it's raining. It's covered, mostly. There's a really light sprinkle out there. It usually doesn't do much more than that. So I don't know what's going on here exactly. But it looks awful. It's still only 1 coat, not completely dry. Now I'm worried it's not going to dry much at all overnight like this. I'm not sure what to do. I've got a heat gun. I might put some gentle heat on it to see what happens. But the patterns don't match where the bare metal versus paint is underneath. And it surely doesn't match my spray patterns. I don't think. But, I mean, the light's kind of hurting it, so let me maybe go up with the light so it's not so terrible. But there's definitely some change in the color. It doesn't feel more or less damp when I touch it in the darker spots. So maybe when I put a second coat on here, it's going to look a little bit better. Maybe a little more even coverage. Maybe a 3rd, 4th, or 5th coat. Who knows? We shall see. It looks a tiny bit better. It's fully dry. It's definitely nighttime now. It stopped a little drizzle rain. Got my light. I'm going to put a second coat on it now. See if it makes it a little more even. Come back out. It's about 9:30 p.m. right now. I look like a dummy. I had some little piece of tape hanging over top of the edge right here, where the wipers are. Alright, so I'll put another coat on it now. Second coat on. Still not perfect. It's still quite damp, but a lot of it did even out. So maybe I'll let this dry as long as I can tonight, and then get a 3rd coat on. It's interesting. I don't know if I should have stuck with this metallic color or not. Yeah, it's just an experiment, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's pretty clean in some areas, and I like it. I'm not happy with how my little ding came out here. That little fake Bondo stuff, whatever it was called, just kind of fell in and sunk. I'll figure out something to do there. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll find a cool little like bra or weather guard trim piece to put across there. So maybe custom fab something to go around the Mercedes star. Not sure yet. Oh, I'll let this dry for a while. See how it turns out. Coat number 2 of the color is pretty much completely dry. And it doesn't show up in person so much as it does here on the camera. You can see the discoloration there. Doesn't look good. Maybe it needs to fully dry because it's kind of cold out here. I don't know. I didn't put any heat on it. I'm gonna maybe put a little more color on there. Let it dry. Then clear. See what it looks like. Oh, third coat is dry. Still some discoloration on here. Maybe it does need some heat or something to really dry it hard. I don't know. Running out of time though, and I'm gonna spray some clear on it and just see what happens with my experiment. This is what I have now. Rust-Oleum custom premium lacquer paint. More durable, dries fast. It's supposed to be pretty good for chips. Pretty strong. Try this out. Oh, that first coat of clear probably made things worse. A lot more came out than typical paint, with a real fat, wide, thick stream. So my skills left some wet areas, which I don't like. We'll see what happens when it dries, and hopefully a few layers of this, a few coats of this, and then like some buffing polishing action on top, and we'll see if we can get it all smooth and pretty. 1 hour after the first coat of clear, it's still damp. It's 2 a.m. It's dark, and the air is not letting it dry quickly or possibly even properly. And I've got bugs floating around now. So I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I'll just spray it again and hopefully it'll all be dry in the morning. But usually not, because it'll be damp in the morning. I think I screwed up. Probably so. Second coat of clear after running a heat gun over it gently for about 10 minutes. A little bit better in person. Don't know what it looks like in the video, but it's like tacky to the touch still. Not wet, not dry, but somewhere in between. I fear all the moisture is going to hit it tonight though. We'll see in the morning, and see if it's ruined, see if it has a chance. Maybe I'll let it dry in the sun through the day. I don't know what to do. Don't know what I'm doing, but happy to share with you. Just a few hours later after a quick nap. Slightly better. It's still it's not tacky to touch, but it does feel like the darker spots are slightly damp. I'm gonna strip it down and drive it. Gotta go to work.